What people are you absolutely convinced are on the Epstein list? There isn't an Epstein list. The internet got all excited about this dude, but he's pretty ordinary. He's not the centerpiece of some giant pedophile conspiracy. For starters, the actual crime was a long time ago. He sent his assistants out to pick up teenage girls for him to have sex with. Originally dismissed in Florida so the victims could sue him instead, but he took some of the girls to New York and prosecutors there were motivated to go after rich sex criminals after the Me Too trend many years after the fact. The crime was him abusing the girls, not a pedo pimp scheme. This is going to be a major stalling effort that will keep everyone busy speculating for years. If this leads to anyone being convicted, it will be people handpicked to be thrown under the bus. Spacey could be one. He seems nervous enough to be out there doing interviews and trying to get ahead of it, even floating a presidential run so he can shield himself from the fallout. Don't get your hopes up for Bill Clinton or Donald Trump. Clinton is too protected, and if they had anything substantial on Trump they would have used it against him already. From the Canadian side, Galen Weston, O'Leary, Irving family and people from the telecom and finance side. I don't think there are any politician on there. For the American and raw, Lindsey Graham for sure. Everybody with huge ties to big Jewish org. Maxwell father was a Mossad agent who was pretty good at setting honeypot, couple of powerful congresspersons, royal family members. Doesn't matter the country. Euro right-wingers, they really love kids. Euro politicians, Kevin Spacey, Trump. Missing some people but pretty much complete. I saw an alleged leaked copy of Epstein's little black book linked on a data lounge thread that looked plausible. At least half the numbers were labeled massage and listed just first names, both boys and girls. Most of the names listed of people who were clearly grown-up members of Epstein's social circle and may or may not have been part of the child exploitation club weren't household names. Trump, Don Jr., Ivanka and Jared Kushner all had multiple contacts numbers listed. Alan Dershowitz was on there, not a big surprise. Any political leader who is in 100 in support of Israel regardless of their rampant human rights violations for decades, including fascism, apartheid, genocide, mass displacement, illegal land seizures, war crimes, indiscriminate arrests and unlawful imprisonments, crimes against humanity, and ethnic cleansing. The ones who shriek that any support for human rights of Palestinians is anti-Semitic. The ones who think that Palestinians deserve to live under occupation forever and have no right to ever fight back against this. The main reason why I think we'll never know is because I feel the names would be of people who are truly pulling the strings, and that those people are possibly not people whose names we'd recognize. And I know that sounds hella conspiracy theorist, but I just mean that there are people who have the money to not worry about paying their bills, who therefore have the time to do crap like try and control events. Couldn't tell you whether they're successful and visit pedo islands. Many Israeli names, including Israeli oligarchs. Epstein was most likely an Israeli spy, the type of old Robert Maxwell, the father of Ghislaine. Maxwell's connections to Mossad were proven in court. Ehud Barak was a regular visitor, former Israeli prime minister and former head of Israeli military intelligence. Alan Dershowitz was a regular visitor and Epstein's lawyer. He also defended Jonathan Pollard, Israel's spy who got a life sentence in America. I'm gonna take a contrarian approach at this. I really find it difficult to believe that all these big-name politicians, actors, actresses, billionaires, etc. are all pedophiles. Like, do you really think Oprah Winfrey is a pedophile? Maybe there was shenanigans with kids going on, I don't doubt that for a minute. But maybe many people just went there for vacations because it was a private island and they could avoid us common folk. Many powerful people in business and government, as well as celebs. A lot of them were probably not there for the fucking of underage kids, they were there for the businesses these meetings could generate. I think it was a place you had to go, you wanted to do business in those circles, or at least facilitate. Being on the fly list doesn't mean they were perving out. I'd say almost everyone has been there. The entire board, C-suite, and upper management of JP Morgan Chase. You want to know how he got away with this shit? It is because JP Morgan Chase was his banker. Those people are the ones that really need to be taken down. If you want to stop the elite, then it is not jail but taking away their wealth that will stop them. Everyone famous, even people not associated with the trafficking or whatever else he was doing, will be on some list that's associated with him. No one wants the list out because if someone did something with Epstein somewhere that wasn't that illegal, they still may have been included on a guest list or some shit. Maybe some of the journalists who did a complete 180 towards supporting Putin in every extreme right-wing view is that they had been blackmailed. Glenn Greenwald and Matt Taibbi come to mind, and Taibbi has some questionable comments about underage girls in his past. And Trump. Lots and lots of Trump. I'd say a majority of congressmen and senators. Probably has a lot of the CEOs of companies who have funded the above congressmen and senators. More likely than not, a bunch of celebrities, and billionaires, who feel that they can get away with anything, because of their fame and wealth. Oprah. Something about her has always irked me. And then her girls' school shit started happening, and then all her gurus or whatever turned out to be groomers, and then the Maui thing happened, and so on and so forth. Somehow a TV personality became a billionaire? I don't fucking buy it. Larry Page, Google exec, who tried to disappear when he was subpoenaed by the Virgin Islands. Sergey Brin, Google co-founder. Thomas Pritzker, Hyatt Hotel exec. Mortimer Zuckerman owns a ton of media and real estate. Michael Ovitz, former Disney CEO and owner of a talent agency. Totally gross that you have a woman convicted of running a trafficking operation, but the names of the clients and therefore co-conspirators emo are protected. If the clients were a bunch of tow truck drivers and plumbers, we'd have known every detail of their lives years ago. No need to speculate. The full flight logs were released a long time ago. I'm not sure why this nonsense is still being repeated over and over. Take a look at them for yourself. As far as I understand it, the list is just a list of his contacts. It's not an actual list of people that partook in abusing kids. So, pretty much any rich person or celebrity that could have come into contact with him over the years could potentially be on that list. Let's be honest, pretty much every blood-related member of the royal family. We've seen how far they've gone to make sure nobody talks a word about anything going on behind closed doors. We've seen their very carefully constructed methods of damage control too. The only one I'm absolutely certain of is Donald Trump. There's a sworn affidavit against him, by a girl he raped at Epstein's NY residence, who, was 13 at the time. The affidavit. You do realize the list being released shortly isn't a client list, right? It's a list of people mentioned in Maxwell's trial who were identified by John or Jane Doe victims, along with both guilty and innocent associates and co-conspirators. I don't trust anyone on the list. At this point, people with money power have edited it to get their name off and include the names of their rivals. There are probably more versions of the Epstein list than New Testaments of the Bible. I think it's going to be disappointing. I think it will mostly be staff workers that were there. They should be hit with the legal hammer because they participated in it. But I don't think we will ever get told the clients that matter. The fact that the list is taking this long to come out, and they have had it for years. I'm expecting a lot of high-end politicians, especially Democrats. I would not be shocked to see Obama, Trump, and Biden on the list. I reckon half of the people frothing at the mouth screaming for the list to be released are definitely gonna do a 180 and say it's a fake list psyop, when half of them will find the celebrities they support on the list. Jimmy Kimmel, of people he's close with, only BC was so vocal about shooting down attempts to get the list released. Also heard a rumor totally unsubstantiated that Stephen Colbert is on the list. Epstein did 4 different phone numbers for Donald Trump. I don't think I could call 4 numbers to reach anyone in my family. So they must have been pretty close if he needed to be able to reach him. I am almost certain there are current and or former owners from the 4 major US sports teams on that list. There are way too many creeps running the NBA, MLB, NFL and NHL for there not to be. 1. Trump. I expect a lot of Republican polls and campaign contributors. Do I expect some Democrats? Yes. Do I expect to see even half as many Dems as Republicans? Not on your life. Dumb question, but is everyone that visited as a guest necessarily a pedo? Is it possible that some just went for a holiday? Sorry if this is naive, but I don't know much about this. Certainly a lot of names no one's is expecting. From good actors, celebrities to politicians on your side. By that I mean from the right and the left, and everything in between. There are hidden camera films of all of this. Epstein filmed everything for leverage. The film of Trump raping that girl. I think Putin has this film. Epstein taped everything. Any non-Jewish person telling us how anti-Semitic we are for siding with the people of Gaza while Israel bombs him back to the Stone Age. Those are the people on his list. A sizable number of politicians from both sides of the aisle. Several businessmen, women, Prince Andrew, and a chunk of Hollywood celebrities. A bunch of Saudi bigwigs. I believe there are a couple of names being redacted from the list, and I am inclined to believe they are the names of US presidents, either former or current. Bill Clinton. Sadly he should pay, even though I am Dem. Pedophilia is pedophilia regardless of who is practicing it. They all need to go to jail forever. Until proven otherwise, Every single person in power or with fame. I personally see them all as guilty until proven innocent. No grace for these fucks. The entire government, from the president down to the fucking mailman and everyone in between. If their paycheck comes from the state, they're guilty. Bill Clinton and at least Donald Trump, if not other Trumps. Harvey Weinstein is another really good option. That prince from Big Tooth Country. Everyone in Congress with an R next to their names. Why do you think they fight so hard to keep child marriages legal in their home states? Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Kevin Spacey, Naomi Campbell, Jess Staley, Matt Groening, Brett Ratner, Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, Bill Gates. We've already had children testify through depositions that they were raped by Trump, so I'm gonna go with the obvious choice here. Gerard Depardieu. Guy was already raping girls with his buddies when a teen and just sexualized a Vietnamese 10 years old on TV. I'm not convinced, but I think Tom Hanks would be interesting just because no one would ever expect it. I doubt he's on it. I can narrow it down by 99.9999 of people, those that do not have enough money power to bribe the American government. The list of the ones they tried to blackmail are the ones that were successful. Lots of innocent names on the first list. The key isn't who flew, it's more like who made repeated trips. That means they know what's up and went back for more. Taylor Swift, guaranteed. And that shit is going to be the first name redacted off that list. Brett Kavanaugh and Matt Gaetz just look like people who would be on a list of entitled child diddlers. Everyone that gets a tax subsidy, or utilizes the stock market as a main function for their fortune,